Hi everybody, 11 Institute welcomes you to part 5 of chapter number 10, standard 10, light reflection and refraction. In the previous video lecture, we studied about image formation by concave mirror, and today we will study about image formation by convex mirror. But before we begin, let us revise something. We saw six different positions of the object in case of concave mirror. The reason for that was we always placed the object on the left side, right, on the left side. And suppose this was our concave mirror, this was the reflecting side, so object was always placed on the left side. So what happened was object was also on left, and apart from that, the pole, the focal point, the center of curvature, that were also on the left side of the mirror. So we had many positions. But for suppose this was concave mirror, right? Now suppose we take the example of convex mirror, which is like this, right? The outer part is reflecting, so the inner part will be non-reflecting like this. We will shade it. Again you will place the image on the object on the left side, right? But for this mirror, the focal point is over here, the center of curvature is over here, so you do not have many positions, you have only two positions, very far and very near, right? Or far to the mirror and near to the mirror. So for convex mirror we have only two cases, right? But before beginning, right, make it sure that we have only one fixation over here. You will get always a virtual and erect image with the help of convex mirror. Virtual and erect image with the help of convex mirror. So let us first see the cases over here. These are the two cases or two positions of the object we have. This is number 1 and this is number 2. First one is at infinity, far away. Now you can see many rays are coming from infinity. They will be incident on the convex mirror like this, and they will reflect back. But reflect back, when they reflect back, the direction is fixed. Why the direction is fixed? Because the incident ray is traveling parallel to the principal axis. You can see this is principal axis, and the incident ray are traveling parallel to it. So reflected ray will be directed such that it should pass through the focal point. Now this reflected ray cannot go the other side, it has to compulsorily reflect back, but its direction will be such that it is in the direction of focal point. Same will happen with this also. Now this reflected ray and this reflected ray do not meet each other. Why? Because convex mirror is diverging, right? Is diverges the rays, એ rays ને દૂર લઈ જશે એકબીજાથી, right? This rays will move apart from each other, so they do not form a real image. So in order to get an image we have to extend them on the other side of mirror like this, over here and over here. Now here they do not meet on their own, we forcefully allow them to meet, right? We compel them to meet. So what happens over here is we get a very diminished image, but this diminished image is virtual and erect. So again the size of the image is same case as concave mirror. When you place the object at infinity, you get the image at focal point which is highly diminished. But in concave mirror we were getting real and inverted image, here we are getting virtual and erect image. First case is clear. Second case, you place somewhere over here such that you can measure the distance, means between pole and infinity, right? At a measurable distance you are placing your object. Again we are drawing two rays. First ray parallel to the principal axis, then it gets reflected back in the direction of focal point. Second ray in the direction of center of curvature, so there will be a single ray because this ray passes through the center of curvature itself, the incident ray and the reflected ray. You can again see this reflected ray and this reflected ray do not meet each other, right? They will move apart from each other, so we extend them on the other side and they meet over here, and again we get a virtual and erect image which is also diminished, smaller than our object, right? So these are the two cases. One thing I would like to clarify is, my dear friends, when you draw the incident ray you have to draw this arrow like this. Many of you have sent me the homework that you have done, fine, and it was very good to see few students were having problem in the position of the object at center of curvature. But you have to take care, a small mistake and you will not get your proper image formation, right? So please draw it carefully. One thing I would like to add is you have to draw the directional arrows like this. If a ray is incident you have to draw an arrow such that it points towards the mirror. And when a ray is reflected, you have to draw this arrow, right, such that it shows that the ray is going back from the mirror after getting reflected. So please make these corrections. You have to draw these arrows whenever you draw the incident ray and the reflected ray. You don't have to just draw simple lines, right? So I hope this is clear. So one thing that you have to take in mind is you will always get a virtual and erect image with the help of convex mirror. See, if you know how to draw these ray diagrams, that is good, but in exam you will be definitely asked 1 mark questions with such logical basis, right? And you have to be very clear which type of image is formed by which type of mirror at which type of position, what is the size of the image, etc, etc, etc. All this data you should have in your mind. So instead of mudding up, if you just understand this, it will be quite clear. So for convex mirror, as you can see, the rays are diverging. It will always form virtual and erect image. One more clarification or one more data that we have to remember is you will always get a diminished image. Means always in case of convex mirror, your object will be larger and image will be smaller. You will always get a smaller image than your object. Fine, these two things are final. They are not going to change, they are constant. You will always get a virtual and erect image for convex mirror, and you will always get a diminished image, smaller sized image than your object in case of convex mirror always. Fine, so indirectly you are having one more hint also. For practical applications, in general use, in routine use, whenever you want a smaller image of a larger object, you will definitely use a convex mirror. And if you want a virtual and erect image also, you will definitely use a convex mirror. I hope this is clear. Now, with the help of animation, 3D animation, again, we will learn how to draw this two ray diagrams. So I request you to please be ready with your pencil, pen, compass, etc., 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 and we may draw these two ray diagrams. Fine, and please write in your book. This you have to copy down in your book, this table. First of all, copy this table in your CW, and then only we shall draw these two diagrams. So please pause the video. First copy this table, right, and then we shall draw these two diagrams, right? Please pause the video. Alright, I hope you have copied that table. Now we will locate the image for the first object position, which is at infinity, and this is the final image or result that we are going to get. Let us see now how to draw this, right? So please first understand, plus see this, and then you can pause the video and draw this down in your CW. These are very easy, you will easily get this, right? So let us start. First of all, we will draw a principal axis of any length, quite long. Then we will place a point on the right side of the page, which will be our center of curvature, a radius of 4 centimeters, and we will draw an arc like this. Mind well, radius of 4 centimeters. Exactly at the center we will mark pole, and exactly in between them at 2 centimeters, right, between pole and center of curvature, exactly in between them at 2 centimeters we will plot the point, focal point, like this. So this is the basic step. We have completed it, and we have directly drawn our convex mirror, right? This outer part, this bulging part, is the reflecting surface, and this inner part is the non-reflecting surface. But as we have drawn from this side, the curvature is on this side, the pole, the focal point, and the center of curvature are on the right side, and we will have to place our object on the left side. Now let us place our object at infinity. Infinity means all the points are same. The distance is quite negligible between these points, so we take them as the same point. So here we are having 2 points, but we have to consider that this entire object behaves as a single point source. The entire object behaves as a single point source, and many rays are originating from it, but we are drawing one parallel ray like this. Now we have to learn something over here, right? Again, this is quite clear, but some students are having doubts, and many of them have asked me, so I have to clarify this. See, this ray is incident ray, right? Now this ray is incident ray, and it is traveling parallel to the principal axis. So first thing that you have to do is, my dear friends, you have to draw an arrow like this. This is incident ray. Fine. I hope this is clear to you. Sure. Now the next thing that you have to take care is this is the reflecting surface. So this ray now cannot move ahead. This will reflect back. It will come back again to you. But it can come back in many directions. Right? It can come back like this. It can come back like this. It can come back like this also. Fine. But this is wrong. This is also wrong. The direction is fixed. It will come back in the direction of focal point only. Why? Because when a ray travels parallel to the principal axis, the reflected ray will be directed towards the focal point. Now I cannot draw a ray over here, but I can definitely draw a ray over here which faces the focal point. I hope this is clear to you. Right. So let us now see this. How will we draw? Right. Please be very clear. Just look how the pencil works out there. See, we have placed our ruler or scale in such a way that it faces the focal point. This is in one line, and we are drawing this reflected ray. After drawing, we will draw a dotted line over here in this much portion. I cannot draw the dotted line over here, that is limitation of the module that I am using, right? But you have to draw a dotted line over here which I will represent by a different color. So your reflected ray is of this light blue or sky blue color, right? See, this you have to draw dotted line. It shows that you are going in the direction of focal point. Another parallel ray to the principal axis. This is the reflected ray such that it points the focal point. And now what you have to do is you have to draw a dotted line over here like this, such that the scale is exactly on this line. So position of the object is at infinity. Position of the image is at focal point but behind the mirror. Right, this is very important. Behind the mirror. If you write at focal point, that will be wrong. You have to write behind the mirror also. Size of the image highly diminished. Point size, you can see it is a point sized image. And nature of the image is virtual and erect. Why? Because this reflected ray and this reflected ray are moving apart from each other. They will never meet each other, but we are extending them to the other side of mirror and they meet over here. So they don't meet on their own, but we compel them, we force them to meet behind the mirror. So the image formed is virtual and erect. One thing, be very clear friends, right? You have to draw arrows like this. This is incident ray and this is reflected ray. Again, this is incident ray and this is reflected ray. You have to draw it like this. I hope this is fine. You don't have any doubts in this. Fine. So please pause the video and draw this down in your CW. Right? Please pause the video. Alright. So I hope you have finished the previous one. Now the next case that we have is our object is placed between infinity and pole. This you can consider as infinity, an infinite distance, and this is pole, such that you can measure. This is a measurable distance, right, between your pole and your object. You can place your object anywhere over here, right, but we will place it just near to the mirror, and this is the final output that we are going to get. But let us see step by step how to draw this, right? So first of all, we will simply again repeat the procedure to draw a convex mirror with a radius of 4 centimeters. So we have drawn the principal axis over here. We will plot a point on the right side of the mirror, which is our center of curvature, radius of 4 centimeter. We will draw an arc like this with a radius of 4 centimeters. Exactly at the center, we will mark the pole. Now, the distance between this pole and center of curvature is 4 centimeters, and half of that will be 2 centimeters. Right, so exactly at 2 centimeters, we will mark the focal point. So our convex mirror is ready. Now we will plot an object on the left side of mirror, right? But again, I will have a fixation over here. Take a distance of 2 centimeters over here. You don't need to do this, barabar. You don't need to take exactly 2 centimeters each and every time. You can get image at any distance. But for better result, right, so to get the image quickly without any problems, without any hesitations, from exam point of view, please take it exactly at 2 centimeters. right? So you get a clear image over here. You can take it 4 centimeters, 6 centimeters also, you will definitely get an image over here, but that might be very small, very large. You don't know that, right? You don't know the final output. So knowledge wise, you can place your object anywhere you want, right? But theoretically, for exam point of view, just remember that when you take a mirror with diameter, sorry, with radius of 4 centimeters, then you will place your object exactly 2 centimeters away from the pole, right? A small fixation from my side. So we will draw an object 2 centimeters away and of 2 centimeters height. Yes, and of 2 centimeters height also. See, this is 2 centimeter high object over here. I hope that is fine. 2 centimeters away from the pole and 2 centimeters high. Now what we have to do? We have to simply draw two rays, right? We have to simply draw two rays out of the four rays that we have parallel to the principal axis coming out of the focal point, going through the focal point, coming parallel to the principal axis, through center of curvature, and last one is through the pole. So we can select any two, but as usual, the first one, old is gold. What we will do, right? We will draw an incident ray parallel to the principal axis, and it will have to pass through the focal point on the other side. But as per the rule, we cannot draw this ray over here. So we will direct our ruler such that we will draw a line over here, and then we will draw a dotted line towards the focal point. Right? I hope this is clear to you. Fine. So this is the reflected ray, and we will just extend this to the other side. Yes. See, what I have done is, this is a mistake from my side. The scale should be placed exactly in line with focal point and this line. જરા બી આડું આવડું થવું જોઈએ નહીં. Please make it very clear. Right? This should be in a straight line. This line and this point. Right? There is some mistake over here, but you should not repeat that mistake at home. Fine. So you have drawn the first ray. Now second ray that we will draw is through the center of curvature. Yes, like this. Now we have just drawn a single line over here, right? We have just drawn a single line over here. Why? Because the ray which goes through the center of curvature, it comes out also through the center of curvature, right? Center of curvature, the ray passing through the center of curvature behaves as a normal. We have studied this. So you do not have to draw any other line, just a straight line like this joining the point of the object and the center of curvature, because the direction of the incident ray and the reflected ray are same. Yes, what you have to do is, you have to draw a straight line from here to this mirror, and after the mirror you have to draw a dotted line. Make it very clear. Those rays which you draw after the mirror or behind the mirror, you have to draw them in a dotted manner, right? So this line, I have drawn a straight line over here, but you have to draw dotted line from this point on the mirror to the center of curvature. I am repeating again, you have to draw a dotted line from here to here and a straight line from here to here. Now what are your dotted lines? They are your reflected rays. Why? Because your first reflected ray is this, and your second reflected ray is this. Let me make it very clear. Right, this is your first reflected ray, it is moving like this, and this is your second reflected ray, it is moving like this. These two rays are never going to meet each other. So what we do is, we extend them on the other side. So see, we have already extended this ray with the help of this yellow or orange ray on the left side, oh sorry, on the right side of the mirror, and we have extended this ray also from here to here on the other side of mirror. I hope this is clear to you. So you can see both of them intersect over here. They were not intersecting on their own, we have forced them to intersect over here, so we get a virtual and erect image over here like this, right? So now this is the point of intersection of both the reflected rays. That will be a dash for us. I have written a1, you have to write a dash, and exactly below that we will get b dash, and we will draw a straight line between them, which will be our a1 b1, right? I hope this is clear. You don't have any doubts. So this is the object, and this is the image that we get. You can see the object is larger and image is smaller, right? Position of the object between infinity and pole. This is infinity, this is pole. That is our position of the object. Position of the image. Where is the image? The image is between the pole and the focal point behind the mirror. See, this behind the mirror word is compulsory. Behind the mirror. Size of the image diminished. We have already studied this. You will get always a smaller image than your object, and nature of the image definitely is virtually related. These last two things are fixed for image formation by convex mirror. You will always get a diminished image and you will always get a virtual and erect image. Second thing, your image will be always between P and F. This image cannot go beyond F. This image cannot go beyond P this side. It will be always between P and F for convex mirror only. These all things are for convex mirror only. So I hope this is fine. Now let us see some uses of convex mirror. Where can we use this based upon the image formation or the properties of the image we get? Let us see them. So now let us see the uses of convex mirror. Right, first of all, we are very clear after drawing the ray diagrams and different positions that you will always get a smaller image of some larger object. So basically convex mirrors will be always used at such places where you want to frame a very large object on a very smaller mirror. Right, you want an entire large object which is quite large and you want its diminished image. At that places we will use convex mirror, and apart from that, whenever we want virtual and erect image, then also we will use convex mirror. So after finishing this, you have to write this answer in your CW and what is the use of convex mirror. That is our question, right, or our topic. And this written in red over here is your textbook question from your exercise. Why do we prefer a convex mirror as a rear view mirror in vehicles? The mirror that is placed in our vehicle for rear viewing, પાછળનું જોવા માટે, બરાબર ને, જે મિરર હોય છે બાઇક or કારમાં, that is always a convex mirror. Few of you might be having doubt, sir, when we touch the surface of that mirror it feels like plane. It does not feel like it is cloud or it is spherical. See, those mirrors are made from spheres of quite large radius. The mirrors that we are using in vehicles for rear view are actually having very large focal length. So it may feel plain to you, but ultimately they are small parts of curved surfaces. It is like this, suppose this is a very giant sphere like this, right? This is a very giant sphere, and out of this, if this much part is cut and it is placed over here as a mirror, then you will feel that it is plane, but it is not plane. It is ultimately a small part of a very big curved surface. That's it. So mirrors that we are seeing or that are used in our vehicles are convex mirrors. And why we use them, right, why we use convex mirrors only, let us see the reason. So following is the use of convex mirror. Yes, first point, convex mirrors are commonly used as rear view mirrors or wind mirrors in vehicles. We have already seen that these mirrors are fitted on the sides of vehicle. That also we know, enabling the driver to see traffic behind him her to facilitate safe driving. Right. So use is common. Convex mirrors are used in vehicles. They are used in vehicles and fitted on the sides of the vehicle in order to see the traffic behind the driver. Right, we can see what is coming from behind. Instead of turning back every now and then, we can just use the mirror. Right, next, see like this. Now it is but evident this truck is quite bigger in size. Actual size of this truck is quite bigger, but we get a diminished image, a small image of this truck, and you can see the entire truck is facilitated inside this small mirror. You can see the entire truck in a small mirror. If you don't use convex mirror over here, and if you use if you use plane mirror over here, then you are not able to see this entire truck in this much of the mirror. Only a small part will be visible. Right, why we are using convex mirror? Because we want the entire truck to be fitted over here. We do not want the same sized image as the object. We want a diminished image, and hence we are using convex mirrors. Next point, convex mirrors are preferred because they always give an erect. Erect એટલે ટ્રક પાછળ સીધો છે તો આપણને બી સીધો જ દેખાવો જોઈએ. ટ્રક સીધો હોય ને અહીંયા આપણને ઊંધો દેખાય તો ચાલે નહીં. આમ વિચારો અહીંયા ઉલટો ટ્રક દેખાતો હોય તો કેવું લાગે? Right? So we want an erect image and also we want diminished image because we want to see the entire object. પાછળથી ટ્રક આવતો હોય અને ટ્રકનો ખાલી આટલો પાર્ટ મને દેખાતો હોય તો એનો કોઈ મીનિંગ નથી ને. I want to see the entire truck for a better view and for better judgment while driving. So hence convex mirrors are used over here. Next, they have a wider field view. They have a wider field view. You can see આના સિવાયનો આજુબાજુનો બધો એરિયા અહીંયા વ્યવસ્થિત કવર થઈ જાય છે. They are having a wider field view. Why? Because they are curved outwards. They are curved outwards. આવી રીતના બહારની સાઈડ curved હોય છે તો એનો જે field area છે અહીંયાથી લઈને અહીંયા સુધી, that is quite larger. Right, this field area is quite larger. Means you can see a landscape image like this. This is one more, right? See, you can see wider field area. In case there is no object over here, you can see the entire field, the entire scene behind you is covered inside this convex mirror. So they are having a wider field view, which is very clear from this image over here. Fine. Next, convex mirrors thus enable the driver to view much larger area than would be possible by plane mirror, right? Because plane mirror cannot give you this much area for viewing. If you want this much area for viewing in case of plane mirror, you have to use plane mirror of that much big size. બરાબર ને મારે 6 ફૂટના માણસનો ઇમેજ જોતી હોય તો મારી સામે જે મિરર છે એ બી 6 ફૂટનો હોવો જોઈએ તો મને 6 ફૂટનો માણસ એમાં દેખાશે એટ અ પર્ટિક્યુલર ડિસ્ટન્સ તમે ડિસ્ટન્સ વધારે કરી નાખો તો કદાચ નાના મિરરમાં બી દેખાઈ જશે બટ આટલું તો પોસિબલ જ નથી કે આટલી ડિમિનિશ્ડ ઇમેજ મારે જોતી હોય તો બધું મારી પાછળનું મને અહીંયા દેખાઈ જવું જોઈએ તો I cannot get that by plane mirror, I can only get that by convex mirrors. So I hope this use of convex mirror is quite clear to you. This is a textbook question. This is exercise question and this is important. Please pause the video and write this answer down in your CW. Alright, I hope you have written this. Let us now move ahead. Yes, so this is the first exercise in your textbook. These are some questions. You have to write this in CW. Few of them we have already written them. For example, define the principal focus of concave mirror. We have already seen this. Right, the point on the principal axis where a number of rays parallel to the principal axis falling on concave mirror meet after reflection is called principal focus, right, of concave mirror. In case convex mirror is asked, we have already written that, so this is repeated. Second one, the radius of curvature of a spherical mirror is 20 centimeter. What is the focal length? We already know the rule that the radius of curvature is 2 times focal length, right? Radius of curvature is double of focal length. So if I want focal length, I have to divide this radius of curvature by 2. This 2 will come into the division. So f is equal to r upon 2. Value of r is 20. So 20 upon 2 will give me 10 centimeters. I hope that is fine. You don't have any doubt. Third one. Name a mirror that can give an erect and enlarged image of an object. See, erect and enlarged. Now, this is very good question. I like such types of question because they are somewhere logic based. They test your real knowledge. See, what we want is an erect image. So first of all, out of all the cases that we have studied till now for spherical mirror, just try to remember where you were getting erect image. You can get an erect image only if you get a virtual image. Fine, first thing is clear because real and inverted ની જોડી છે, virtual and erect ની જોડી છે. Right, so just remember the cases where we were getting virtual and erect images. Right, see, for all convex mirrors, we get virtual and erect images. For all the cases of convex mirror, we get a virtual and erect image, but they want enlarged image. Which type of image? Enlarged image. But in case of convex mirror, we get virtual, erect and diminished image. Right, virtual, erect and diminished image. Fine, so convex mirror, answer is cancelled because we want virtual, erect and enlarged image. Now this is possible in only one case. Which case? For concave mirror, we always get a real and inverted image. Except one case, the last one, the sixth one. When you place the object between F and P, when you place the object between F and P, we get a virtual, erect and enlarged image on the other side of the mirror. So the name of the mirror will be concave mirror, but for a specific position. So we have to mention that specific position also. Answer is concave mirror, but only when the object is placed between F and P. If the object is placed between F and P, then you will get a erect and enlarged image on the other side of the mirror. Fine. And answer number 4, we have already seen. Just now we have written, why do we prefer a convex mirror as a rear view mirror in vehicles? Fine. So answer number 1 you already have. Answer number 4 also you already have. I request you to write this answer number 2 and 3 in your CW. Right. These are textbook questions. These are important for completing the CW in schools also, right? So just write this down. Answer number 2 and answer number 3. And in case you wish to write all 4 in number, you can write that also. Please pause the video and write this down. Alright, I hope you have written this. Let us now move to the next topic, which is very important. Yes. Sign convention for reflection by spherical mirrors. What? Sign convention. This is a very important topic. You have to understand this in order to solve the sums. If you are not able to understand sign convention, if you are not eligible, or if you are not good at applying sign convention for spherical mirrors, you would not get your answers correct as far as you solve the numericals of this chapter. So sign convention is very important, and at the same time it is very easy also. Let us understand what is sign convention for reflection by spherical mirrors. Fine, so this is the image I have taken from textbook, and first we will study everything about sign convention from this image. See, sign convention means nothing but we are discussing about some distances when we solve the numericals. Like, we are having many distances like object distance, image distance, focal length, height of the object, height of the image, radius of curvature. What are this? These are distances. We have to apply some signs to these distances. No, signs, not sign, signs. Signs means plus or minus, right? So there are some rules for sign convention. First rule is, or first thing that you have to accept is, this point, the pole, you have to consider it as origin. You have to just think that you are having an x-axis over here, a y-axis over here, and the x-axis and the y-axis. Suppose imagine there is a y-axis over here. You have, suppose I will draw it, right? This is suppose your y-axis, and the intercept over here at this point. So this point is origin for us. What is this? This is origin, right? This is 0 for us, right? So first rule is you will consider pole as origin, right? Number one, we will consider that this pole is origin. Very sorry for the handwriting, but I am writing with a mouse, and it is quite difficult to get some good handwriting with the help of mouse. So pole is origin. This is the first thing. Second, all the distances will be measured from the pole. For example, here is the object, and if you want to measure the distance between this object and the pole, તો અહીંયાથી start કરીને અહીંયા નથી માપવાનું. You will always measure from this side to this side. So when you measure from this side, right, you will always measure from pole. Suppose you are having an object over here. So you will not start measuring from here. You will always measure from here to here, from here to here. If you want to measure anything upwards, you will start from here to upwards, from here to downwards, right? You will not measure from the opposites. You will start measuring always from the pole, right? So second rule is you will start from pole, right? Third, the object will be always placed on the left side of the mirror, no matter what type of mirror it is or what type of lens it is, right? Convex, concave, mirror or lens, the object will be always placed on the left side. So these are the three basic things that we have to take care of. First thing, we have to assume that the pole is the origin of the Cartesian coordinate system, x-axis and y-axis. You will always measure from the pole. This pole will be your reference. You will always measure from pole, right? You will always start measuring from here. Start from the pole. And third one is the object will be always placed on the left side of the mirror. I hope these three are clear to you. So these three are basic fixations. Now let us understand the rules. All the distances that you will measure from the pole to the left side of the mirror, right? See, we will understand this. Suppose this is x-axis. So on x-axis, after 0, you have positive numbers on the right side and negative numbers on the left side. So we will always start measuring from here. That is fine, right? We will always measure from the pole because this is our 0, this is our origin. And when I measure from here to the left side, the distance will be taken always as negative. So all the distances which are measured on the left side of the mirror are taken as negative. Second rule, all the distances that are measured to the right side of the mirror, they will be taken as positive because this is number line. On the left side we are having negative numbers, so distance will be negative. On the right side we are having positive numbers, so distance will be positive. Quite simple, right? Third, all the distances that are measured above the axis. For example, above the axis we are having this y-axis. This is y-axis for us. All the distances that we measure above this x-axis are taken as positive. Why? Because you can see the positive numbers over here. So height of the object will be always positive. Height upwards will be always positive. And all the distances that you measure below this axis, right, will be taken as negative. So height downwards will be taken negative. So I hope this is quite clear to you. All the distances will be measured from the pole. The distances that you measure towards the left of the pole are negative. Towards the right of the pole are positive. Above the x-axis are positive and below the x-axis are negative. This is simply Cartesian sign convention and nothing else. Fine, these are the rules. You should know how to write these rules, but more than that, you need to know how to apply these rules. So my dear friends, first of all, write this question in your CW, draw this diagram, and then we will write the points of sign convention for reflection by spherical mirrors. So please pause the video, write this question, draw this diagram, and then we shall move ahead. You have to draw exactly the same diagram that is getting displayed over here. Alright, I hope you have drawn this. After drawing this, you have to begin your answer. Right, so these are the points for Cartesian sign convention. We have already studied them in the image. Just we will read them now. The new Cartesian sign convention is applied to obtain mirror formula, right? What is mirror formula? Don't worry, we will see in the next video lecture. And to solve numerical problems. This is more important, right? We need to solve numerical problems. Hence, we need the new Cartesian sign convention. In this convention, the pole of the mirror is taken as origin. We have already seen this. The pole of the mirror is taken as origin, right? Pole of the mirror is taken as origin. The principal axis of the mirror is taken as x-axis, right? The principal axis is taken as x-axis. The conventions are as follows. This is the basic introduction, and now we will see the conventions. First one, the object is always placed to the left of the mirror. The object is always placed to the left of the mirror. This implies that light from the object falls on the mirror from the left hand side. The same point is repeated. The object will be always placed on the left of the mirror. Next, all the distances parallel to principal axis are measured from the pole. You will always start from the pole, right? All the distances you have to measure them starting from the pole of the mirror, right? Third point, all the distances measured to the right of the origin. Origin means pole. All the distances that are measured to the right of the pole are taken as positive, while those measured to the left of the pole are taken as negative. Right? I hope this is clear. Right of the origin are taken as positive, and those to the left of the origin mean pole, are taken as negative. Distances measured perpendicular to and above the principal axis are taken as positive. All that are taken above the principal axis are taken as positive, and below the principal axis, right, below the principal axis are taken as negative. So quite simple. Here I will summarize it. This is a mirror, this is a principal axis. Here is the object, it will be always placed on the left. Here is the pole, you will always start measuring from it. And suppose you get the image over here. Right, so when I measure anything over the left side of the mirror, it will be negative. Why? Because I will start from the pole and I will measure it this side. So it will be negative. If I measure anything on the right side of the pole, it will be a positive value. If I measure anything above the pole like this, it will be positive. If I measure anything below the pole, it will be negative. Quite simple. You just have to think that this is the y-axis and this is the x-axis, and pole is your origin. That's it. That's it. And important thing is you have to always begin from the pole. That's it. So I hope this is clear to you. Now I request you to please pause the video and write this down in your CW. Right? Please write this down in your CW. Please pause the video and write this down in your CW. Alright, so we have seen a very important question of sign convention. Now let us see practically how it applies, so it will be clear to you. So what we discuss now, you don't have to write this. First thing, you don't have to write this, you just have to understand this. Let us apply sign convention to this particular ray diagram. Right, suppose we talk about several distances. First distance among this is, suppose let us talk about object distance. So where is the object? Object is on the left side of the mirror. This is my origin or my pole. If I measure anything of the left, suppose the object is on left, so object distance will be negative. Object distance is generally given by small u. Second, image distance. Where is the image? On the right side of the pole. You can see image is on the right side of the pole. So image distance will be positive. Focal length. Focal length is on the left side of the mirror, negative. Height of the object above the principal axis, positive. Height of the image is also above the principal axis, so here also the height is positive. I hope this is clear to you. Fine, now let us see one more example so you will be more clear. Again I will talk about object distance over here. The object is on the left side of the mirror, so object distance is negative. The image is also on the left side of the mirror, so image distance will be also taken as negative. Now you can compare this both. Here image distance is positive, here image distance is negative. Why? Here image is formed on the right side of the mirror, here image is formed on the left side of the mirror. Focal length will be again negative. You can see it is on the left side of the mirror. Height of the object is taken as positive above the principal axis, but height of the image is below the principal axis and it is taken as negative. Now you can compare these both also. Here height of the image is positive. Why? Because it is erect. Right? It is above the principal axis. Here height of the image is negative. Why? Because it is inverted. It is below the principal axis. Let us see one more example. Again we will quickly see. Here height of the object is positive. Sorry, object distance is positive. Left side. Object distance is negative. Sorry. Object distance is negative on the left side of the mirror. Image distance is positive on the right side of the mirror. Right? Distance to the left is negative, object distance is negative, distance to the right is positive, image distance is positive. Focal length, positive. You can see here focal length is negative. Why? On the left side. Here also focal length is negative. Why? On the left side of mirror. But here focal length is positive. Why? It is on the right side of the mirror. Alright. Height of the object positive above the principal axis. Height of the image is also positive above the principal axis. So three different cases we have seen. This is concave mirror. Both of them are concave mirror, but still there can be differences. Right, here height is positive, here height is negative. There can be differences. Here image distance is positive, here image distance is negative. This is a convex mirror, so there will be some more changes. Right, now there are few fixations also. Right, focal length will be always negative for concave mirror and always positive for convex mirror. But we will not go into any fixations for now. We just need to apply the partition sign conventions. Rest, some fixations about focal length we will study in the upcoming video lectures. So I hope the partition sign convention and its application is quite clear to you. In case you want to write this as an extra part in your CW that we have made, you can write this in your CW, draw this in your CW. In case you do not wish, you don't. Right, so I hope this is clear to you. We end up the video lecture over here. We will now meet in the next video lecture, but before that I request you to please revise whatever we have completed. We will again meet in the next video lecture and we will discuss about mirror formula and a very important topic, magnification by spherical mirrors. Till then, take very good care of yourselves, do your work sincerely. We will meet in the next video lecture. Thank you, goodbye.